let's talk about Weapons. So, in case you did not know, Weapons is the newest horror movie, and it comes from the same director, Zach Cregger, who also did Barbarian. I really enjoyed Barbarian, but this is his new film. And just to kind of give you a bit of an intro into what you can expect with this film, when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, the whole community is left questioning who, what, where is behind the disappearance between all these kids. So let me start off with what I thought was good in Weapons, right? First and foremost, I absolutely loved the opening narration with how they started this off. And that was with the little kid narrating everything, right? I think this movie excels because of the writing, and the narrating was just part of it. It built up the mystery in such a good way. It kind of gives that little eerie but innocent sense of tone, I guess. And I loved how they basically throw the audience right into the middle of this entire situation. It's like, yo, by the way, here we go. Kids are missing. We don't know why. We don't know how. It just happened. Deal with it. And that's it. That's how we just get thrown into this. And I really enjoyed that. Furthermore, I liked how the characters were developed. I liked how they all made sense and how they were explained here. I was really, really happy to see that you didn't have a lot of loose threads going on in this film. It wasn't like, oh, let's talk about this and then we don't go nowhere with it, right? The characters and their backgrounds, I thought they made sense. And I think that it also helped them make better decisions. Y'all know, if one of my biggest pet peeves with a horror movie is when you have characters that do and say dumb things that don't make sense. That was not the case here. I kept looking every single time at these characters like, okay, are you going to do that stupid thing that they do in horror movies? Are you going to make that dumb decision? No. People made decisions that made sense to their characters, and I was cool with it. And that's why I really thought the writing started to excel for them. I thought it worked for sure. Man, really like this dude too. I liked him too. As for the lore of this story, I thought they did a good job of kind of explaining things, but with a nice balance of not being too explicit with it, right? There was a great balance between not hand holding you, but at the same time, let me give you just enough information so that we can make this story work. And I thought that they did a very good job of that, and not, thinking that the audience was too dumb to figure certain things out. So I thought they did a good job with that. Now, the director, I also thought, Zach Cregger, he does a really good job with the editing style here. One of the things that I like was the fact that he would sit here and, just like in Barbarian, he would give you a certain story or a certain character. And right when the tension builds up, right when things are getting crazy, boom, pivot, go to something else, talk about something else, and show you a different perspective. And the reason why I like that was because what he's doing in this editing style is doing something that I believe we all want in movies. When you go sit down in a movie, you want to be taken for a ride. You don't want to know where we're going, right? You don't need to know, because the director is the one driving. And every single time he sits there and says, haha, we're going here. Psych, we going here. Psych, we going here. Psych, we going here. And you just like, okay, it's not like you're making two suspect left turns and I'm like, I think you're lost. No. You're going to a destination that I don't know, but I'm allowing you to drive. And I like what he did here, because every single time he had me on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. That gas station scene, for example, crazy. And you're only sitting there looking for more. So I thought that he did a very, very good job in terms of directing the pace, directing the emotion, and directing the tension in the film. Whole time I absolutely felt like, yes, he knew what he was doing with this. And you know what, I have to say that, like, the editing also did it was really done well, especially when it came to the cinematography. Because one thing that I thought he did exceptionally well, and maybe you'll take it for granted, It was the camera angles. The camera angles and the camera shots were so masterfully done. Listen, this man knows how to make a dark hallway look scary as hell. Okay. And I don't know about y'all, but like the fact that he could make the door at a house scary and interesting at the same time is crazy to me. Were y'all? So I know some people have seen this. When that door opened to the house, y'all know what I'm talking about. When the door was just open and it was just black, did you not sit there and be like, the fact that he would hold it, he would wait, and he would just allow you to think about anything and let your imagination run. Brilliant. That's smart. So that right there. And then I have to also talk about the sound. The sound and the music, perfectly timed, perfectly done. Let me tell you something. A lot of times horror movies will crank up the volume just to scare you or whatever, which is cheap and it's dumb. Go watch the movie Sinister and you'll know what I'm talking about. But like this movie, man, listen, when certain things was happening, the music was on point. I'll give you a perfect example. During the stakeout, when the stakeout was happening and the door opened, when you hear the sound of the car, I don't know about you, but I was sitting there like, yo, with the car door sounds, too much, but excellent, right? And that was me and my whole theater. Like everybody was like, when you heard the car door, you was like, you know, perfectly done, well executed, really, really dope. So, and then of course, you have some of the other the jump scares. I thought he did an incredibly good job with the jump scares in this movie that I ain't gonna lie. You got me. You got me a couple times. You got me 2 good times. There was 2 good times that them jump scares got your boy. And you know, I'm a seasoned vet. I'm a seasoned vet with these horror streets, but they got me. Okay. That I ain't gonna tell you which scene it is. You gonna know. I mean, people that seen it, y'all seen it. But the hoogala boogala got me. Okay, that hoogala boogala, yikes! Like I can tell y'all right now, when I had that first jump scare, my hands went up like, oh! I was like, why did my hands go up like this? Like I was gonna fight the screen or something. It was stupid, but you got me. Good job, because it's hard to do a good jump scare effectively when we've been so conditioned on to look for them and to anticipate them. But this is one of the reasons why I really like Zach's style, because he would take those expectations and kind of flip them. Not too crazy, because I still think James Wan does it even better, but he does a remarkable job with it here. And I really like what he does with just the house. Like when you're in the house, he knows how to make those camera angles look scary. And the only thing I could think of is, man, 7, 8-year-old me, 6-year-old me trying to go to sleep, but I'm looking through the door and the shadows look like they alive and I'm scared and there's something in the closet or whatever. Like just all of that stuff, he knew how to tap into that. And I thought he did an amazing job with it. So that was really dope. Oh, the visuals. Listen, that fork scene, yikes. The fork scene was definitely hard to watch. The other kitchen scenes were also hard to watch. And I think that was definitely something that kudos to the makeup department for that. They did a very, very good job with that. When it comes to the performances, I did think that Julia Garner did a wonderful job, especially in her delivery as a very obviously flawed, complicated character. But I think my favorite character, and I ain't gonna show it, had to be Benedict Wong. I thought he did a great job with what he was tasked to do, and his commitment was all good there. Shout out. I didn't notice, by the way, that was VFX. I didn't know that. I was like, is this that man doing this work? That was VFX. But he did a good job with that. But I think what, especially going back to the story, it was the last act. That last act for me was amazing. The tension was built up. It came to a perfect climax whether it was intentional or not. I don't know if he meant it to be, but that last scene was funny. That last scene had me dying, had my theater dying. We was cracking up when the weapons were seen. Oh my God. But here's the key, because I usually tell y'all horror and comedy, they don't mix, right? And it's true, in my opinion, that when you have something be funny, it kills usually why something is scary. Now, the reason why it works here, and this is brilliant, everybody can't do this. The comedy did not infiltrate or compromise the sense of urgency within the story or the characters. What do I mean? In other words, just because I'm laughing doesn't make it a laughing matter within the movie itself. So while the scene might look like a slapstick scene from Scooby-Doo or something, it wasn't, because just imagine if you were in that character's shoes, you would be scared too. I know I would. I was like, listen, I give up. I give up. No, if I see that coming for me, I'm done. I can't outrun that. I can't hide from that. I'm done. So I guess the best example I could give you is, because I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, obviously, it's kind of like with John Wick. Remember in the John Wick movies how it's not a comedy, but sometimes they'll sit here and be like, hey man, whose puppy did you kill? Just some dude named John Wick. What? The Baba Yaga? Oh, hell no, we gotta leave. That's funny to us, but it's not funny to them. It's not funny in that world because they know the Baba Yaga gonna mess y'all up. That is a fine balance to find in a film. And Zach Cregger, man, he found a perfect line and that worked. So I give him a lot of props for that. And it made the ending incredibly satisfying to watch. Last but not least, let me that's all the good I gave. Let me talk about one bad. It's a nitpick. I'm letting you know this right now. It's not even the biggest deal at all. But I do think that there was a moment where there was a certain character who does make a certain discovery that I think didn't really help the story as much. I mean, I know why it was there, but this character's actions, it seemed like the police could have and should have done the same thing. Because I'm sitting here wondering, like, why didn't the police do this? Or why didn't we hear about that? And maybe it was information that was revealed, but we just didn't know about it. But I just think that they could have used that character who made that certain discovery. They could have added new evidence, or they could have made it something unique that only that character would have picked up on, because the clue that was found, I was like, I feel like that's police work 101, but that's just my, again, super nitpick, super nitpick. Now let's move on to the reason. Weapons is an original mystery that over delivers in excitement and thrills for horror fans. The story, the characters, they keep you on the edge of your seat. Director Zach Cregger, I think, took what he made in Barbarian and successfully leveled up in Weapons. The best thing about this movie is that it has a little bit of everything for audiences, including scares, intrigue, and even a pinch of comedy. So when it comes to the rating for Weapons, I got to give it a 9 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think that if you liked Barbarian, you will love Weapons. I think that it is a must see in theaters with an audience. It's probably better to experience it that way. I think that you should watch as little trailers as possible. Um, and for those that are scary heads, it is absolutely scarier than Sinners. Sinners to me is like, you know, mild sauce on nachos. Like it's not gonna make or break anything, right? This one's got a little kick to it. Them two jump scares might mess some people up. I ain't gonna lie. There was a picture here I was gonna put up there, but I didn't want to do it because I know there's some scary heads in here, so I ain't gonna do that to y'all. But I think that this movie does everything that it needs to. I'm just a sucker. I gave it an extra point because it felt so original. You have no idea how refreshing it is as a critic who has to sit here and watch 50, 60 movies a year to see something that finally feels different, especially in this horror genre. So I really enjoy this film. I like it. I will not say it's medium scary. I do think it is scary for some people. So just be warned. But man, what a good film! What a good film. So anyway, if you have seen it or if you plan on seeing it, come on back to this video. Let me know, what did you think about Weapons in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.